This podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/mapperforward to find out how you can become a member today. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and we are at episode 8, our final episode with the fabulous Jibbi Little. Hey, Jibbi.
Hi, pleasure to be here.
We are talking about the logistical nightmare that is going on in the world right now. So in our last episode, we talked about the question that Mapper Forward's kind of asking throughout 2022, which is what are the problems that are facing the coffee industry right now? And you mentioned the labor shortage as the first one and international freight costs or shipping costs as the second one. And that's leading us into today's discussion, which is all about not just the freight cost, but logistics in general being an issue. As an entrepreneur that deals in manufacturing, how have you found the logistical issues that the coffee industry is facing or the e-commerce industry is facing? How have you experienced those issues?
So I actually pay not double, but triple price.
Wow.
To import all the JIBBIJUG from the factory to Australia.
Triple in freight.
Yes, triple. Yes. And the price never go down, even no COVID. Because you need to understand that also the the airline also doesn't make money before. Now it's time that they cover up. They're not going to give you a discount. It will stay this price for somehow for like 6 to 1 year. Trust me.
It's not going back down again. Now that they've put the prices up, they're not going to put them back down.
Yes, I believe so. And that caused a lot of JIBBIJUG go here. Why too? It's like, everything is more expensive. Yeah. And the shipping cost is a pretty much 30% major cost in every businesses. Yeah. If you pay high delivery fees, so you need to figure it out how you're going to do it.
I mean, international shipping has always been a problem for all businesses. I know for Elixir, when we were based in the US, it's going to be worse when we open up again here in Australia. But when we were trying to ship international, people get really angry at us because of our shipping costs. And it's a heavy product. I mean, we would ship an Elixir Trio. You've bought an Elixir Trio before. It's not light. It's 3 bottles of... It's glass and we have to package it properly. And so when we would tap on a shipping cost, we would literally pass on. The shipping cost would be exactly what, in the beginning, exactly what USPS or UPS was charging.
Yeah.
People complained. So we decided that we would eat 20% of the shipping costs and take that off our profit margin. And we were still charging $30 international shipping, but we were eating 20% of it. People were still complaining. And that was back then.
I know.
Now it's even more expensive. And if we were still based in the US, we would have to take international shipping off it just wouldn't be possible because it then becomes more expensive than the product itself.
Yeah,
which doesn't make sense.
Yes, and also this is something that I know of, like especially JIBBIJUG. People would think, oh, it's light. It's maybe 500 grams.
No.
But hold on, they will charge you per dimension.
Right, they charge you for the size of the box.
Yes, even it's light, doesn't matter. Yeah, sometimes we import JIBBIJUGs and we pay very expensive because the box is big. Because they will, dimension, so the width, that, and divide by 5,000. Even the jug is light, you will pay exactly same as the dimensions that they charge.
The way that the shipping companies do it, for anyone who doesn't know, is they figure out which is going to be the more expensive.
Yes, correct.
And that's the one that they use. So even if it's light, based on the dimension, it's going to be more expensive to ship it. That's the metric that they use to define how much your shipping costs are going to be. If it's going to be more expensive based on weight, that's the dimension they're going to use to determine how much they're going to charge you, which is really challenging. from the manufacturing perspective, Jibbi, how has the pandemic played into, presented some challenges for you? Has it gotten more expensive to do manufacturing? Has there been delays in manufacturing? What have you noticed has been influenced through the pandemic?
I believe the manufacturings maybe have a slightly less sale from China, because even me myself, before I order maybe a container like for the coffee, like the jar like that, you know, if the shipping cost cheap, the tin, I would order it from China because I know it's much cheaper. But after I calculate the deliveries, the delivery fee charge is more expensive than the tins. Now I order from Australia. And a lot that I order from local now. The box, everything. Yeah, I change.
Wow. Now, do you think that they've just got old stock from before they paid the bigger shipping fees? Are they or are they manufacturing them here?
Some of them, I think when you ship with the sea ship, it's still cheaper anyway. But when I import, that's a very small amount. So less than pallet would say, you still pay a big price. For them, that's why I buy a whole container. Better, that's how I change it. Yeah.
So you've had to shift your supply chain to be more local than global, and so that you can
the factory.
So that you can pad some of so that you can claim back some of the profit that you lost from old suppliers.
No, because buy local in domestic cheaper than overseas now.
Because of the
only
shipping
some
costs.
product, but not the coffee. The coffee is going to be more expensive.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because that's my favorite subject right now.
So for Jibbi Little Roasting CO, we do a lot of direct trade. Okay. And in the pandemic, so we have to pay a lot of quarantine fee for the coffee. Sometimes I pay $60. Sometimes I pay $170. Same coffee, maybe same quantity, but different price. Why? That land on weekend, so you pay $170. Yeah, I pay both. So that's the cost that I need to pay, and the shipping separate. I use FedEx. This is so interesting because they already release you a coffee, and you think it's good, fine. You don't have anything. I only pay tax. Then maybe 3 weeks later, the invoice come from FedEx. You have to pay for the quarantines. They have to open the coffee and.
Wow.
Yeah, but they already released you the coffee. This has happened to me. Yes, extra cost.
Wow.
And this is only the very small part. The shipping is already expensive. Now, with the quarantine fee, your coffee will become more expensive. But this is direct. That's why I get the coffee a little bit faster from the producer. But if you buy from Australia, I believe that the logistic problem is going to be very slow. You will receive the coffee that quite old age. Like, after the harvest, they have the processing and things like that. So they ship by the sea. And they might start it somewhere, somehow, until it reaches you, it's 6 months old. And until you advertise and labeling and roasting. So you have a very small shelf life. I believe it's going to be a big problem because the quality will drop. The price will go high.
We're seeing a lot of this already around the world, where people are taking receipt of, or they're taking coffees from importers, and the coffee's not quite the same as when they cupped it a few months ago.
Yeah.
And this has always been a problem, that sometimes you'll cup a coffee with an importer, and then when you receive the coffee, it's not quite the same, but it seems to be a problem that's happening much, much more now.
Yeah, because I think maybe the sea have to went to reroute somehow, and it's stuck there. Myself, I bought the fruit for the wine. the freezer for the wine. Put the coffee bean.
And just so people understand, Jibbi's not buying pallets and pallets of coffee.
Yeah.
Jibbi's buying high-end specialty coffee, like above 90, right?
Yeah. 87 to 92,
Right.
yeah.
So when you buy coffee from Jibbi, it's really incredible quality green. And she's buying in smaller quantities. She can store it in a freezer. Do you store it as green in the freezer, or do you store it roasted?
You know the wine freezer, not the freezer, the wine, the fridge that you put for the wine.
The wine fridge.
Yeah, the wine fridge. And for the expensive one, I receive it and I use it right away because I don't order too much, so I don't put it. But the coffee that I order is from Australia, so I know that the shelf life that come to me is 6 months old. So I have a very little time to work on because it's a raw products,
Yep.
So that one I put it in 1 kilo bag, vacuum it, put it in the cooler place.
So that's for the coffees that you source from an importer
from here in Australia.
Right.
I slow it down because I know that it's been long with the journey until it reached me, because it's stuck. We have so many problems about the logistics before that. Someone blocked the way, and then the ship have to reroute and things like that. It took longer month. The coffee will reach me. That's why I have to buy it now, because I know that how I gonna make sure that the flavor don't change too much with the heat, and because we are quite hot in Sydney, like a humidity and stuff like that. It's summer.
And this summer we have had constant rain.
No.
There has been 0 beach days here in Sydney. We feel very robbed. But the good thing is, if it's raining, there's no bushfires. So I'd rather take the rain over the bushfires, right? So one thing I wanted to ask you is, are you worried that another problem with the logistics of coffee is that coffee is very expensive right now because there's a coffee shortage?
Already expensive. Already is. $2 more. Already expensive. The price to customer will be expensive.
Are you worried about this?
Because I sell retail, so I don't sell wholesale. So for me, it's going to be the same price. But for the market, it will be tough. Because if you increase the price, now, we have to think about if the customer will come, and pretty much you don't want to increase the price. So I just talked to my friend that work in the cafe. So they end up buy a cheaper green beans because they cannot increase the price. Yes.
This is where it's going to get very interesting, right? Like, what decisions are cafe owners and roasters going to make? Are they going to choose to buy a cheaper green, or are they going to take this very unique opportunity to increase their prices?
Yeah.
All of this is going to determine what our industry looks like in 2 or 3 years from now, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. Jibbi, thank you so much for doing this series with us. This has been really fantastic, as always, to have a chat with you. But thanks for doing this. I learned a lot, and I hope that everybody did as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Good luck with everything. Now, tell everyone where they can find JIBBIJUG on social media and your website.
Okay, guys, you can buy JIBBIJUG at 2 websites. If you are in Australia, please go to www.jibbijug.com.au because we don't ship overseas. And if you are from another countries, any country in the world we sell, www.jibbijug.com. Because if you went to .com.au, you cannot buy it. It's only local. Yeah.
So you have JIBBIJUG, www.jibbijug.com.au if you're in Australia, and jibbijug.com if you want international shipping. And please, if you are discouraged by the pricing on Jibbi's websites and you are going to think about buying a fake or counterfeit jug, please understand that it doesn't work the same. It simply doesn't work the same. You may think that it does, but it really doesn't. And if you haven't seen the episodes in this series that explain why, please go back and watch from the first of this 8 series episode. Okay, links are in the show notes, folks. If you've got any questions, connect with Jibbi on Instagram at Jibbi the Little, right, Jibbi?
The Littles, yes.
Okay, yeah. And links will be in the show notes below. Thanks again, Jibbi. Peace, love, and peanut butter, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Bye.
Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.